Hey there everyone, my name is Cyprian, and if you thought you were done having a fever dream, we're not done yet. I'm joined by my wonderful commentator. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm TGH. I recently started running any percent for this game, and I'm happy to be here doing commentary for Amber.
Yep, so this is going to be Sonic 3D Blast, best ending. I'm going to make sure that my controls are all set. Okay, yeah, they are. Cool. So, I guess, we'll let the run speak for itself, but for reference, I am playing on the Sega Genesis version with the, on the GameCube Mega Collection disc.
Yes.
So, that's what we're doing. And, hello everyone from the 3D Blast community and from, everyone else who's watching the stream. Anyways, without any further ado, we're gonna get going. I'm gonna count down. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this is Sonic 3D Blast Best Ending. I'll get to the differences once we get to GG2, but first we'll explain a little bit of the basic mechanics of the game. This isn't your normal Sonic game, like your 2D Sonic game. It is 3D. You basically view it from this top-down sort of isometric perspective. It is very different from your regular classic Sonic game, of course. So you go around, you stomp on these enemies, and you collect these birds called flickies. Each of these flickies, well, first off, you collect 5 of them and go through these goal rings. Each area, or each zone, I should say, has, or each act of each zone has 3 or 2 sectors to it, where you collect 5 flickies and bring them to these goal rings where you can advance them. And each flickie has different properties, different sorts of AI. There are mostly blue and purple flickies in Green Grove 1 and 2. These are very friendly to work with. Blue flickies, basically, they track onto either Sonic or the flickies that Sonic has trailing him. The purple flickies just kind of wander around. But they don't run away from Sonic, but they just kind of like go around normally, I believe. We'll get into green and red flickies later on, but they're more difficult to work with.
I need those rings.
So starting here, this is where you're going to see a deviation between any percent and best ending. Since Amber is doing the best ending, she's going to be collecting 50 rings here to bring to either Knuckles or Tails in each section. I believe in this stage it's Knuckles.
Yes.
Yes. So she's collecting rings, exactly 50. She'll come up with 51, I believe.
It'll be
for Knuckles.
52, because I usually leave this sector with 39. I have 40.
Yep, so this is how you get Chaos Emeralds. Collect 50 rings, you deposit them to Knuckles here, and he's going to bring you to the special stage where you run straight forward, collect rings, avoid mines, jump over walls, which sometimes can be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, so every special stage actually has 3 sections. The first section you're expected to collect 50 rings, second section is 100, third section is 150. So what I'm going to be doing is collecting 150 and then avoid rings as much as possible, because we want to make sure we don't lose frames during the results screen where we count down our ring bonus and all that. Like, you don't lose too much for it by going, like, between 150 and, like, 165, 170 or so, but anything past, like, 170 or so starts losing some frames. And it's generally good practice to just get as close to 150 as possible. And that goes for every single Chaos Emerald, so all 7 of them will be like this, and they'll get progressively faster.
Yep. Yep, and yeah, exactly. They get progressively faster as they go on. Took the words out of my mouth there a little bit. So continuing on with the stage, avoids that mine. Very nice.
I've died to walking into that.
Infamous mine with 0 rings. The preferred method for most runners is to, well, you either roll into enemies or you jump on them. I believe for the most part, unless is otherwise required, Amber likes to roll into enemies and then jump up to collect the flickies. A lot of other runners like to jump on them, like that for instance. Sometimes you have to, just how it is.
There we go. So, we actually have our first sight of red flickies. I know TGH was actually trying to explain the flicky AI in this game.
Yep.
It is it's interesting. Blue flickies will actually, as he's explained, will home in on Sonic or the end of the flicky trail that he's carrying. Purple flickies wander near Sonic without actively looking for him. And then red flickies will hop back and forth roughly where they're freed. And then green flickies, which will be introduced in the following zone, after this boss fight tend to wander wherever they kind of feel like. There is some logic to their AI, but we haven't quite figured it out.
Here's the first boss fight in Greengrove 3. Robotnik drops this little spike thing around. The idea is to get the spike back as close to the middle of the arena where Robotnik is. That was a perfect boss fight, very nice. And then you can get 2 hits actually per cycle, and it's 5 hits total. And Robotnik's done. That's pretty much it. You can get a 24, right?
Yes,
I think,
24 is possible,
but 25 is also
tight.
very, very good.
Yes.
25 is about as good as it gets for RTA attempts.
Yeah, you can get a 24 IL, absolutely, in IGT, but this game is timed in RTA. We use IGT to just kind of judge how well the stage went, but it is not how we time full game runs. It's how we just handle our ILs.
So one little thing about this game, you'll notice that Amber actually got hit there, and all the flickies that were following her got lost and like started scattering around. That is definitely one of the main sources of time loss for runners in this game, is if you do get hit, you lose all your flickies as well as your rings. And the flickies are what the problem are the problem here. The rings aren't necessarily the problem for experienced runners, but flickies can get a little bit out of hand if you lose them.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And this stage actually introduces this spinning state, if you want to explain that.
Yeah, sure. So this particular section here, I'm going to stay quiet. Because
we're good.
Okay, good. Yep, so that's very important. That long spinning section is very important not to jump, because there is those pillars at the end that you need to break with the spinning state. So you need to not jump, and it's very easy to jump by habit.
Green flickies. Whenever I do take a hit, depending on what flickies I have following me, I prioritize certain colors. I usually prioritize greens, especially around cliffs. Then I prioritize reds and purples, and then finally blues, because the blues will wander towards me, so I'm less worried about those.
Okay, so through Rusty Ruin 2, Amber's going to be doing another ring route to get her second emerald.
Yep.
So starting here in Sector 1, and she's going to be doing something here called Freed Flicky Flagging.
Which was discovered by Zergriff about a month or two ago.
Yeah, just recently. So basically you can see that she's killing enemies, but she's not actually collecting any of the flickies. So I'll explain what is going on while she's in the special stage. Okay, so all those flickies are freed, but are not collected. And flickies have 3 different stages, 3 different states in this game: either captured, freed, or following. When flickies are freed but not following, upon completing a special stage, the flickies will actually then be following Amber again, or following Sonic, I should say.
Yes, so, all the flickies belong to me.
So yeah, that saves a lot of time not being able to pick up, or not being required to pick up flickies on the way, if you know that there's a special stage happening after the flickies are to be had.
So, one thing I like to talk about... Oh, God. That
Walls.
Jump is actually awful,
Yeah.
Because you're on a slope going up. Anyways, one thing that I like to mention is that there's a very important mechanic that is important for newer runners to learn, and it's called jump storage.
Yes.
Why am I splitting in the middle of a special stage? I do that all the time. But yeah, if you want to explain what jump storage is, that'd be fantastic.
So jump storage is basically, as far as Sonic goes, it's unique to only this Sonic game as far as classic Sonic goes. So when you're in the air, you can hold your jump button while you're in the air, and you'll jump on the first frame possible once you land on the ground, and that's very useful in a lot of different circumstances. It's very safe because once you're in the air and in your like spinning ball state, once you're in the air, you are invulnerable to most enemy attacks. Actually, pretty much all enemies, unless they have like a spike on top of them or something, which there aren't many of in this run, I don't think.
No, there's only the enemies in Greengrove that have a spike around them.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah, so it's very safe. So it means that you're always in that state of invulnerability. Speed shoes make you go faster. That's a big surprise. I'm not sure we've mentioned any of the monitors yet.
No, we have not.
She's collected some shields as well as some speed shoes monitors, just like classic Sonic.
section's a little perilous there.
Yeah, it is.
Holding my breath.
And you'll notice there that Amber actually took advantage of the fact that flickies collect other flickies for you. So the flicky kind of hit the back trail of the flicky, and she's gonna do something here in Rusty Ruin 3. She's gonna do a quick kill strat.
Okay, we got it.
Done.
Okay.
Very nice. Okay, so what she did was she collected a couple rings and then damage boosted herself off of the body of whatever the heck Robotnik is controlling there. Tiger stone thing, I don't know. And landed on the paw, and then was able to immediately kill Eggman in 0 cycles. So that was really nice. Very nicely done. Not easy to do consistently.
Yeah, it's certainly a thing that new runners actually can struggle with sometimes. I'm also going to be doing another ring route here for my 3rd emerald.
Yeah, and ring routes require you to not get hit by any enemies, so as such, she's going to be kind of staying quiet throughout the stages where she does need to perform a ring route. Again, she needs 50 rings. So she'll take 40 into the 2nd sector here, and then there's a 10 ring box immediately to her right once she comes up to this platform here, and then Tails is right there on the left. Hi, Tails. Alright, so this is what, Tails 3?
This is Tails 3.
Tails
so
3.
It's important to note that unlike the Saturn and PC versions for Best Ending, which they're all separate categories because they all have separate special stages that are very, very different from each other. In the PC and Saturn versions, Tails and Knuckles do not produce different special stages. In the Genesis, they each have their own set of 7. So it is, the layouts actually do change depending on whom I'm going to and when. And I have a preference for mostly Knuckles stages because they tend to be a little bit easier and also run, like, maybe a second or 2 faster here and there. The later special stages don't have nearly as much time difference between the two because they are auto-scrollers. But the, Knuckles one is actually faster than Tails one, for example.
So I believe from here on out, the emeralds that she will be getting will be in Diamond Dust 1. She gets 2 in Diamond Dust 2, and then 1 more, the last one, in Volcano Valley 1.
Yes, that is for marathon safety.
Yeah, so the good thing about Best Ending, though, is that if you do, for whatever reason, mess up a ring route, you have your backup emeralds, and Amber does have a set of backup emeralds that she will get should those ring routes go wrong at any point.
Yes, so actually due to, like, because of Freed Flicky flagging, I actually reintroduced Rusty Ruin to Knuckles back into my route.
That blowfish kind of sucks.
Can we talk about losing a red Flicky on a slope? Because, my god.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty awful.
It's pretty bad. Also, Spring Stadium in general is pretty bad. Bumpers are awful. Generally, Amber does a really good job of maneuvering around them, but yeah, bumpers can get pretty bad.
Yeah, this is a game that is difficult to talk and play at the same time, I will openly admit, which is why I have TGH here.
Yes.
Can we not?
Speaking of bumpers being bad.
We're in our own personal isometric bumper world here. This stage alone, could belong in, LSD Dream Emulator. Because, Spring Stadium 2 is the textbook definition of just because you can use every color of the every color in the crayon box doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
There we go. I can words. English is super easy, I promise.
I've also heard this level referred to as McDonald's play place.
Yes.
At some stage, I think in lurking streams. I agree. That's all I have to say.
I actually remembered the speed shoes.
Yay.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Alright, so yeah, the level from here on is pretty straightforward. It's a pretty straight, clear-cut path. No real deviations.
Yeah.
All the flickies are pretty much on the way. That was really well done down the slope.
Yeah, that was actually really smooth.
It's really hard to get down. It's really hard to get down that slope cleanly because there are a lot of bumpers. You just kind of have to, like, what I do is I basically just, like, jump down the slope and hope I don't land on a bumper. Very clean flick grabs here. I almost said fricky glabs.
Glean Fricky, strike again.
Alright. This is probably the most difficult Flicky to collect in Spring Stadium, period, and that was very clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you didn't see there, because that was so well maneuvered, what you didn't see there was there are these spear-like things that stick up through the ground whenever you travel near them or travel over them, and they extend up, like, pretty much infinitely.
So here we have the worst boss in the game. I'm gonna be very quiet.
Yes.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. Okay. Still good.
We're gonna get a ring for safety. I was playing with fire there for a second.
Yeah, that was a balls.
And...
Okay, ring. Okay, this is classic Spring Stadium 3 right here.
yeah, it is, especially in a marathon.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Nicely done though. Good recovery.
We did not die. Dying in that boss is like my worst nightmare. I'll take a 35, it's fine. In a marathon, I'll take anything that's sub 40.
Yeah, that boss is very, very disorienting, especially for new runners, because it's really kind of hard to see Eggman once you're on top of that platform. You need to be on to hit him when he's up on his upper, like,
worst
stage,
enemy in the game, right there.
This is one of the worst Flickies to collect in the entire game.
So thankfully, this stage does have a ring route, but it's so lenient in Sector 1 that I could leave here with 0 rings and still be able to collect the emerald in Sector 2. Ideally, I would not want to have to do that, but here we are. But it's fine. We're entering with 17. I've entered with as little as 6. And been fine. But that is the worst snowman in the game.
Here we get this long auto-scroller section here.
This is where we get a lot of our rings prior to Tails.
Yeah, this is the reason why it's so lenient, the ring
4.
route is.
Yeah. And we can also flag here as well.
Yep. The FFF. Or as I like to call it, the F.
The F. And we're entering Tails 4 here. So actually, interesting to note is that there are different movement options. We haven't gotten into basic movement in this game, but of course Sonic can run, jump, and roll, and spin dash, which spin dashing isn't seen very often in this game. It's not super useful. Sonic's actually at his fastest while airborne. He has the highest top speed, lowest oscillation, which means that his speed value varies the least while he's in the air. And there's also jump storage, of course. But the fastest possible movement would be doing short hops quite often, which is why actually jumping into enemies is a little bit faster if you can get smooth, flicky grabs. But I prefer to roll into enemies and then jump at the apex of the flicky release to grab it. It's a little safer for me.
Yeah, it's definitely down to personal preference. Like, personally, like, I prefer to land on enemies because there's a quirk in Sonic's movement mechanic when he is rolling, where if you change direction too sharply, he'll actually come out of his roll, and I don't particularly enjoy the thought of that happening once I'm about to roll into an enemy, so I'll get hit if that's the case. But so I like jumping, but it's definitely to each their own. So that's part of what makes this a good speed game. IMO.
Yeah, we have the Chaos Cough Drops confirmed. Also, those snowmen are actually a little scary because if anyone's familiar with Sonic 1 speedruns, there's the infamous spike glitch. If I were to run into that snowman and take damage from his projectile, that was incredibly clean, my god.
That was really clean.
But if you roll into that snowman and you take damage from his projectile as he's shooting it out, you can accidentally continue rolling into him and have no invincibility frames for some reason and immediately die. So it looks like you're getting crushed by the flicky ice block. That's simply not true. But now we're doing a ring route for Diamond Dust 2, which this is a very unique route just to the Genesis version because of the way Chaos Emeralds are handled, and I'll be quiet for just a moment here.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, that snowman is genuinely terrifying. Anyways, so in the Sega Saturn and PC versions, can we not walk into spikes, please? You can only get 1 emerald per act. If you go to the other special stage in the same act, you'll just get rewarded with an extra life. We're gonna attempt to flag these guys.
Take one with us, it's fine.
It's fine, yeah. But yeah, like, you just get an extra life for doing 2 special stages in the same act. Genesis actually gives you 2 emeralds. And Genesis is the only one that does this for some reason. So the Diamond Dust 2 double emerald route is exclusive to Genesis. And I actually, when I discovered it, I was like, why am I not doing this? It also means that it gave viability to one particular emerald in Volcano Valley 1 as a backup emerald, and that's Volcano Valley 1 Tails. But I don't take that one very often, if at all.
It looks like, if things are going as they are, it looks like we won't need any backups, but this is pretty good so far.
Yeah, let's not walk into
as far as ring
spikes.
routes go.
Yeah, there's several emeralds that, like, have a hazard right in front of them, right as you come out, and you don't have any rings, so you can actually die immediately after getting an emerald, and it's pretty comical. So here I want 26 to 28 rings, because the next auto-scroller section will give me about 45 to 47, and then there's some rings right in front of Knuckles, and that will be my, second emerald of this act. And that'll give us 6 emeralds, and then I'll pick up my 7th, hopefully in Volcano Valley 1. Assuming I don't make a miserable mistake, and then we have to do the last backup, which is Volcano Valley 2 Tails, which is a faster emerald, but far more dangerous for reasons we'll get into when we get into Volcano Valley. Because I heard you like fire after ice.
Yes.
Also, Knuckles 6 is, in my opinion, Knuckles 6, Tails 7, and Knuckles 7 are the worst special stages in this game, because look at all these spikes. They're awful. One other thing I like to point out is that you can jump storage in the middle of special stages.
Is it me, or do the special stages get narrower as they go, too?
They don't. It's just, it feels more cramped because of all the things going on.
I see. Makes sense. Alright, so now that is her 6th Chaos Emerald, just one more to go, which she plans to get in Volcano Valley 1.
Yes, correct. The plan is Volcano Valley 1 Knuckles. Whether or not that works out, we'll find out. Because in practice earlier today, I had to take Volcano Valley 2 Tails because I messed up the ring route in VV1, which is actually a very, very tight ring route. You only have 2 rings of leniency in the Genesis version. In Saturn and PC, you have no rings of leniency for the fast ring route. So taking a hit essentially, like, resigns you to having to do a backup. There is no saving that particular emerald. But Diamond Dust 3 is a very good example of Eggman's AI at its finest.
Yes, absolutely. You'll see sometimes Eggman just like kind of wander off in the middle of nowhere for no reason. But in general, I think Amber's strat here is to stay horizontal to Eggman, just to see, to be able to see better like when he descends and when she should jump.
Yeah, I let him run into me.
Yeah, but as the battle goes on though, he'll get faster and faster, and she'll actually hug this north wall, and Eggman just kind of like bounces off the wall a bunch of times, and it's pretty comical.
What? There we go.
But it does really, it makes it so that you don't have to really move, and it makes it a lot easier to hit him.
Yeah, and you can still get like a 50 with this strat in IGT. Like, it's actually very reliable, and I recommend it for newer runners. I recommend it for current runners too. Like, that was a 51 because I missed a jump, but yeah, like that's very consistent. Okay, quiet time for me.
Yeah, alright, so Volcano Valley 1 is pretty volatile. Actually, both of them are. Although one more than 2 probably, because there's lava now, and you can't jump in the lava, obviously, so...
Fire hot, fire bad.
Yep.
Ring.
So she's currently on a ring route, again with only that little bit of leniency.
That tunnel is actually shaped like a loose M. It's dumb, and it's hard to navigate blindly. But yeah, we're in our special stage, and assuming I don't royally destroy this, destroy myself here, this should be best ending requirements right here.
Yep. So that was a perfect, perfect emerald route demonstrated.
Yes, that is perfect marathon. I use a slightly different route when I'm doing real attempts, but because I've been in so many marathons, I just do this, and I'm still able to PB as it is. This run has actually been very, very solid so far. My PB is in RTA is a 42:10,
Yes.
which I got in the last marathon I was in, actually, as a result of my race with Co-Empathy, which shoutouts to her. She is effectively almost like one of the human taskers of this game. She's found several things that are faster than the task that we've been working on. The task being worked on by the only kid. God!
Like we said, M-shaped tunnel.
Yep. The only kid, Sega Junkie, which is formerly Mike89, myself, and Zergriff. Please don't get caught on the corner. So I'm actually gonna. You're gonna talk about the shield.
There's an optional fire shield you can get by breaking one of those blocks, but Amber's MLG, so she's gonna go ahead and not get that.
But that fire shield is oh god, that fire shield is actually really good for this section in particular.
Yeah, that's fine. That could have gone a lot worse.
That could have been a lot worse, yes. Well, nice.
Oh, time to effectively demonstrate another mechanic of this game. Enemies can actually just snipe flickies straight off of you.
Yeah,
so
without damaging Sonic.
Yeah, so you don't have to get hit. You can just have the enemy hit the flicky, or my favorite, have a turret snipe it off you later in the game, and have to pick up the flicky again. That's great.
So you can actually jump off of these platforms a little earlier. I don't recommend new runners to do that immediately if they start having trouble with it, because it is finicky. You have to be as far back as you can be on these platforms here, to be able to like just kind of cut that ascent a little short. And it's faster, but it's also fine to just take it all the way up and try to aim your spin dash into the nearest enemy, ring, anything you have to grab or destroy.
That was a clean ending, by the way.
It actually was.
Alright, VV2, this opening section is kind of scary because you have to run through that. Just hold up and left, actually. So it's not actually as scary as it looks. Getting this fire shield, though, okay.
Okay, we didn't hit the fireballs.
Yeah.
I've lost that fire shield to those fireballs immediately after grabbing it, and it's kind of a similar thing of, my theory is that it's similar to, in nature, to these, like, snowman death and stuff, where your iframes or your shield frames aren't exactly, active yet, but we still haven't figured it out. But the reason why we try not to do VV2 tails in a marathon is because after you end up taking, a special stage, you lose your rings and your shields, and I'm just not jumping, it's fine. Please, like, solid objects are hard to interact with in this game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the hitboxes are really tiny, like, a lot smaller than they probably look.
But, you have to do this whole section of fire hazards, including this, with, no shield after VV2 tails, which is really, 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 really unnerving, and that fire pit has my name written on it.
Yeah, if you get hit in that fire pit with flickies following you, which you always do have flickies following you at that section, it is bad news because the flickies just hang out over the fire, over the lava, and it makes it sometimes impossible to actually collect them.
Hello? Okay, I guess I'm doing it here.
Alright, that's fine.
I got caught on that corner for some reason. I don't know what happened there. That was super strange. Ah!
Oh, that's
There's
okay.
the death.
That's okay. That was really strange. Something just like kept.
Yeah, I just could not go around.
Moving over to where she normally is, which is right here.
That was cute.
Avoid the fire snake. Here we go.
Yeah, anyone who ever calls that boss free is wrong, by the way, because that can happen to you, and you could get caught on a corner all of a sudden. But that was a nice 20-second time loss, but, yeah. So now we're in Worst Act 1.
Alright, so Gene Gadget 1, or Gaga 1, as we like to call it, is probably one of the hardest stages in the entire game because of these little tight and closed sections here with turrets that will snipe you, will kill you, will do awful things to you. That was interesting.
Like that? That was very interesting. So you said that was consistent, didn't you?
Yeah, the flicky just didn't move anywhere. Very uncharacteristic of green flickies to not move anywhere.
No, I think Dagran, who said earlier in chat he swears that they go for the hazards. I can't blame him for thinking that, because it certainly feels that way. So one unique property of the blue shield, and I didn't grab the flicky, there it is that they're actually immune to electricity damage, which is strange because you would think it would just be a normal one-shot shield like it is in every other classic game. No, it's immune to electricity. So Sonic is an elementalist, immune to fire, he goes through ice, oh god.
Oh, that was a good recovery.
Yeah, and can survive electricity. Sonic is the next Avatar.
Alright, last section here of Giga 1. First Octo up to the left, Mouse in the middle, Blowfish up to the left.
Which I missed, and it was on camera, so enemy cycles are either level, like global level, or camera-based in this game, and that's hazards and enemies.
I believe most of what we deal with in this run is camera-based, so like once they're on camera, then they start doing what their AI or RNG is programmed to actually do.
There is no RNG in this game.
There's no RNG?
There's no RNG.
Not even with flickies?
Not even with flickies. I'm pretty sure that there is a logic behind the green flicky movement, but again, we haven't been able to do the proper research into it.
Okay.
The closest thing you get to RNG is the green flicky movement, though. I will openly say that. But the flicky, what color flickies in every enemy is static. The enemy cycles and hazard cycles are static. The only thing that changes is when you get to them, and that's the only way that can affect it. But here we have what I've lovingly named the Slope of Rage. And we have a fairly consistent setup that's pretty safe. That makes this trivial, but for casual players or new runners, this is difficult to deal with.
That turret is so dangerous, by the way. Very nicely done avoiding that.
Yeah. When TGH here was learning, because he's local to me, he's actually in the room doing commentary with me. You go this way.
Oh.
You're making noises as if you're the one doing the run. My god. When he was learning from me, he sat down with me and he asked, what level should I learn after he taught himself Panic Puppet 2. I recommended this stage immediately because of the slope. It's the hardest to, like, really just get used to.
Yep, so this is essentially the first IL I learned for 3D Blast, like, properly learned. And I'm glad at that, because it sort of, like, got me prepared for the worst.
Yeah, so, anyone who ever wants to learn this game, we do have a community Discord. It's it's the regular Sonic speedrunning Discord, but we have our own channel. We have full leaderboard support. I'm one of the mods of the game. I'm always happy to teach people this run like I taught TGH. I've taught a lot of people a lot of things. Supersonic, a few people in chat are a part of this community that I've just kind of roped together, and I've tweeted aggressively about this game for about 5 months now, because I quit my previous speed game back in October to pursue this, because I've been running it on and off for about 5 years. This is my 6th year running this game, and my first year taking it more seriously. But the community is great. I highly recommend just popping in and saying hi. If you have any interest in this game, feel free to ask any of us for help. We have resources on the speedrun.com page as well for general movement and level maps.
This boss, by the way, he kind of sways back and forth once he goes back in the air about 4.5 times or so. It can be helpful to actually move around, like, as well as do this thing that she's doing right here. If you stand on a 45-degree angle to the conveyor belt, Sonic will just kind of slide back into the wall and move back like 3 pixels a second or something, which makes it very easy to stay in position.
Yeah, shoutouts to, I have a separate channel on my own Discord for 3D Blast runners as well, called the International Isometric Salt Mine. Holy bucket slope jumps! But the Discord for the Sonic speedrunning community in general, Mother of God.
Oh, okay.
We'll take the spin dash back,
yeah,
that's fine.
that section is really hard to get through without taking damage.
Oh god, here we go. Also, these capsules have, like, really strange hitboxes.
Yeah, they do. They're also way, like, they're, like, almost maximum, like, you have to jump, like, almost your maximum height to be able to land on top of them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of annoying.
It's a feels bad moment.
It's really easy to get sniped by that crab, by the way, that she just jumped past, which is why she jumped past it as opposed to just walking.
Yeah, he'll snipe your flickies, and you're a sad panda because you're probably already in the teleporter going through.
Yeah.
Also, most useless auto scroller right here.
Yeah, safety first. I mean, you don't want to like, you don't want to run on the conveyor belt or anything. It's unsafe. So we choose to just stand. It's fine, Sonic. Take your time.
But we've spent many stages up to this point collecting flickies, throwing them in the rings, and well. We're not doing that anymore. Panic Puppet 2 throws that out the window. It's the only stage in the game that doesn't have flickies. Instead, it has hazards everywhere. Turrets, enemies that shoot things, lightning, mines.
And the best thing of all, a giant statue of Eggman that you just kind of like, you just kind of like walk around, or you don't walk around it, but you know what I mean.
You're supposed to jump at the top of that that slope. Top of that conveyor belt, and I'm just sort of like, Eggman! Shoutouts to Swezzy, who's currently at ESA. He is another runner of this game, and blessed us with that soundbite. Oh god!
This is the stupidest section of platforming in the game. Mandatory isometric platforming,
or
aka mipping.
We've also nicknamed it a little bit of the slope of sadness as well. I prefer mipping, though, because it is mandatory isometric platforming.
Well, that was nice to squeeze. That's actually really hard to do, to squeeze by those mines right there. Those exploding mines. Yeah,
that was a less than stellar Panic Puppet 2, but it's fine.
Alright, so the final boss, well, it would be the final boss if this were any percent. So this is Panic Puppet 3. It has 3 phases. This first one where Eggman's arms will just kind of pummel down upon you. Upon doing that, his hitbox, where the shoulder is, I guess, becomes active, and you just kind of hit that and drill that 4 times each. And that was a really clean phase 1, actually.
Yeah, it was. Holy buckets.
Yeah.
Phase 2.
Yep, phase 2, so one interesting thing about this boss is that when you, when one of his arms appears to be active, actually both of them are active for hitboxes for you to actually damage Eggman. So in this case, it's actually slower though in the last phase to do it, and in this one we do it just because we go back and forth just because this flame is chasing you back and forth.
Also, this is incredible pace for me. I'm actually on PB pace, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so you're gonna try to do the
I'm gonna do those, yeah. But shoutouts to the Bailey Renee, formerly Sonic AD. She actually discovered that hitbox shenanigans in this boss fight when she was doing a casual playthrough. Which I actually recommend learning that as a backup for if you run out of rings or if you start losing control of the boss fight like this. So I'm actually going to finish up like this, because
that's very smart.
At this point, it's not worth it, and we're on the last 2 hits.
Yep, so we got to demonstrate it after all. There we go.
So, I might PB by a minute, which would be ridiculous, but we collected all the Chaos Emeralds, and normally in Sonic games, best ending involves some really cool Supersonic boss fight. And you might be wondering why I haven't used Supersonic up to this point. Well, the Chaos Cough Drops are different. They don't give you Supersonic. You don't get any cool fight in space. I really, really wish I could say good things about this fight, but I can't.
Instead, you get this fight.
Welcome to the final fight.
Yes. So it consists of 5, I think? 5 different phases, each repeated once. So you do each of these 5 phases once, and you hit them once, you move on to the next section, and then you do the next one. And they're all pretty simple. And Yeah. Welcome to the final fight. The only real challenge to this fight in the speedrun is if you miss Eggman at all, you lose a lot of time because you miss the entire cycle and you have to do it again.
I'm gonna be very quiet because I use audio cues throughout most of this fight.
Fine. Yeah, so she's using audio cues for this. So she's counting 8 of those little siren sounds, and then she spin dashes away.
Shoutouts to Sega Junkie for giving me that audio cue.
Yeah, she's just trying to hit Eggman as he comes in to be vulnerable as soon as possible. That's pretty much all of where the optimization lies within this fight. It was very early.
Yeah, I was actually a little scared.
Yep, in this phase, there's a safe spot here and in a couple of other places where you can stand. These always work. And then you just go in, hit him. Be good.
And now we rinse and repeat! Yay!
What is your split button, by the way?
0 non-number pad.
I'm gonna hit the split for you at the end.
Oh god.
Don't worry about it. On that first phase too, you can actually just stand right in front of Eggman's hands, and it'll fire immediately, and that's the most optimal way to do that cycle.
Now here I actually stand in these corners for the fire, and I wait for them to come on screen, because by then it'll wear out well before I have to hit Eggman.
Yep, just the way to manipulate the attacks.
Yep. So I try to get these hands as close to their respective, like, where they end up going at the end of the cycle anyways. A little early, but that's fine. So the bottom hand needs to be roughly where it is, and then where I keep leading this top hand is where it needs to be as well. Because you'll see they'll actually go there to do this. As if that's very threatening. He sounds like he fires 6, he fires 5. And this is the fastest cycle to at least lose time on, so yeah, there goes that.
Yeah, so she was just a little bit early. But luckily, like she said, that is the fastest cycle to lose time on.
So this is actually no longer gonna PB, but that's okay. That missed cycle actually cost me my PB. So time is coming up. And oh god, time is not coming up.
These hitboxes to hit him are so finicky. You can get caught on the corner really easily.
Time.
There we go.
42:31.
GG, and that is Sonic 3D Blast best ending.
Yep.
With a little bit of added drama.
For record, my IL time in this is a 3:41 versus a 4:07. That shows how much time loss you can actually suffer here. But yeah, that is Sonic 3D Blast best ending. I want to thank TGH for joining me in person for commentary. Shoutouts to the International Isometric Salt Mine, the Sonic 3D Blast speedrunning community in general. I actually have a question for the organizer or the restreamer. How far ahead schedule are we currently?
We are currently ahead of schedule by, let me double check.
Because I know I was just like 7 minutes ahead.
Factoring setup time 35 minutes.
We're currently ahead by 5?
35.
35?
Because we're 40 minutes ahead, but I do need to set up my own run.
Yeah, you need like 5 minutes for that. So question, would we be able to follow through on our bonus?
How long was that again?
I needed 30 to 35. Minutes? 30 minutes is probably more likely. 30,
oh, yeah,
32.
You had a bonus run that you wanted to fill time with, right?
Yeah.
Because in case you... let me just double check that with Pico. Set up for that just in case.
Yeah, that doesn't really require any setup.
We don't need to set up.
Because all I have to do is just reset the game. So I'm just gonna let this really chill credits music roll. Shoutouts to John Burton, the developer of this game. If you haven't seen his YouTube videos on his Game Hut channel about the development of this game, you absolutely should check those out as well. You'll learn a lot about the development of the game and all sorts of other stuff. But if we do get permission, TGH and I had
I got the okay. Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right, so
change the category.
cool.
Alright, I gotta change the category.
That's fine.
What is the category? Alright, so estimate was 30 minutes, right?
Do 35 because we have 40.
45.
I don't think it'll take 35.
I don't think it'll take 35 either.
No.
But yeah, so it's gonna be beat the game, which is the way we call any percent because classic Sonic. But it's gonna be 2 players, 1 controller.
Yeah, so this is gonna be really interesting. As far as I am concerned, this has not been officially done by any 2 people, so...
Yeah, I'm also gonna swap splits, to any percent. There we go.